Hi, I'm Karen Whifford, and I'm a kidney donor. My family has polycystic kidney disease. It's a disease that cysts grow on the kidneys and eventually cause them to fail. And in my family, it's usually between the ages of 45 and 50. My father had it, and he actually died when he was 49. There was no treatments for him at the time, and he was told to go home and get his affairs all in place. At the time, I was 3 years old, and my mom was left with 5 children. And it was a hard, hard time. 3 of my siblings inherited the disease. My oldest brother, Alan, my sister, Sharon, and my middle brother, Hugh. My brother, Alan, he's the oldest. He was the first to have his kidneys fail, and his wife volunteered, and it turned out they were a perfect match in more ways than one. He had her kidney for over 20 years, which is just a miracle to me. And he had a full life. I just lost him recently for reasons related to the polycystic kidneys, but not the transplant. My sister, her kidneys failed next, and I spoke up and said I'd like to give a kidney. We were going through all the testing, and the day I was cleared, where everything was a go, she was actually informed that day that she had breast cancer. So things were put on hold. We had to wait. She went through the treatments. In December of 2002, we went ahead with the transplant, and it was successful. My kidneys started working right on the table. Because my father died when I was 3, and I know what it's like to lose a parent at a young age, my children at the time were also young, and I had, an underlying fear of them losing me like I had lost my father. But I just kind of pushed that down and went ahead with the transplant. And right after the transplant, my sister's youngest came into my room, crying and just so grateful, and said, "Thank you for giving me my mom back." And in that moment, I realized I was able to give her children something that had been taken away from me. And it was this extra gift, this small miracle that came out of, this situation. And I'm very grateful for that. I was, 6 weeks of being careful, and the first couple of weeks were the worst part. But after that, life was kind of back to normal, besides not lifting heavy things. And my life went on, and her life became full. We got to do so much. Not only did her children get to grow up and be adults, she got to travel, and we got to spend so much time with her, and we did so many fun things, and she was not tied to that machine, and there was new life in her. It was a wonderful thing. Unfortunately, I lost her 7 years later to complications not related to my kidney. Worked right up to the last day. It was quite a miracle, actually. I also have another sibling, Hugh. His kidneys started failing right around the time my sister passed, which I cannot imagine how difficult that was for him. He's been waiting over 11 years, and he has been tied to that machine. Despite his positivity and his fight, it is still hard to watch. He decided when he went on dialysis that he was going to show the next generation that it is not the end being on dialysis, and he has been a bright light in our family. My grandfather didn't even know he had polycystic kidneys, and he died when my father was a month old. They thought he got kicked by a horse or something. They had no idea. My father knew he had polycystic kidneys, but there was no treatment for him and no hope. My siblings have got dialysis and transplants that have enriched their lives and allowed them to be grandfathers. My brother Hugh was the first grandfather, as long as we know, on my father's side. He's the first grandfather, and he's very proud of that. He calls himself Boompa because it is a special thing. I also have nieces and nephews, and some of them are getting medications that actually cause those cysts to either not develop or to shrink. The breakthroughs that are happening in this field are absolutely incredible, and I have seen leaps and bounds over the generations of my family alone. The work of the volunteers and the people that donate kidneys is so important, and signing donor cards is so important. You are changing lives. And the children of those and the families of those that need kidneys. From a family that has struggled and seen hardships, I'm telling you, these things make a difference. And I just want to thank everyone who contributes. So that's my story. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening.